First Amendment attack. Psyops controlling SCOTUS fake free speech docket. October 3rd, 2010. So the CIA has been running psychological operations within the US for decades now. This is an absolute violation of their charter, and some may even say this is absolute treason. That is pretty screwed up. But what is even more screwed up is that the U.S. Supreme Court has now filled their docket of cases to rule on with these overly oblivious Bilderberg CIA psychological operations. Here is the first of these CIA controlled operations. Number 1. The CIA controlled fake Reverend Phelps and his ability to psychologically abuse the families of our fallen soldiers with his team of CIA-funded, mind-controlled Jonestown provocateurs. Anywhere in the country, if you openly psychologically harass people, you are subject to an inquiry. But because this guy is a CIA operative, all inquiries are dropped and no one is allowed to question him because he serves a purpose. He is the one who is able to get another slash at the First Amendment through his highly intricate CIA Bilderberg operation. One family who suffered from his psychological abuse sued him, and the CIA stepped in and actually made the father of the fallen soldier pay Phelps for court costs. How is this not a CIA operation? How is the entire Mockingbird MSM unable to simply say this? Because the MSM wants an end to free speech is killing their control over the narrative of the day. Free speech does not allow them to lie to our faces anymore. So there you go. The number one fake Supreme Court case is actually a CIA Bilderberg operation. But because Bilderberg sits at the top of the Supreme Court is not allowed to investigate or even mention the compelling evidence pointed to the Pentagon-funded operation involving this fake Reverend Phelps and his attack on the First Amendment for the global elite. Number 2. The video game industry and its use of violence. Give me a break. Billions of dollars in funding from the taxpayers to the Pentagon to the video game industry is on record. The video game industry, through mergers and acquisitions, now sits even higher than the Pentagon. It also sits at the level of Bilderberg. Why does the Supreme Court simply state that any video game manufacturer receiving federal funds, overtly or covertly, is not allowed to have more than 1,000 people get slaughtered per game and no more than 500 gallons of blood poured out per game? Threat would easily take care of this. Additionally, CIA Pentagon Bilderberg provoked issue. Number 3. Religious issues like burning the Quran. Again, we have a complete CIA operation with the pastor who finally figured out how insane his part of this plan was. But it was 100% controlled CIA Mockingbird Rockefeller operation, including the pagan GAIA fake mosque that Rockefeller is building at Ground Zero for more insane provocations. These are all agent provocations to attack the First Amendment. If the CIA, Pentagon, Bilderberg were not getting money to provoke insane crapola, the American people would never be using the First Amendment in such counterproductive ways. The God-given right to have the ability to free speech is 1,000 times better maintained at the local populace than with a bunch of incestuous, psychopathic, genocidal maniacs in Bilderberg who want to tell us what we can and what we cannot do. Free humanity does not need Bilderberg control to tell it what it can and it can't say. This attack is on the very essence of the self determination, and free thinking man is a program. An operation by the monolithic and ruthless conspiracy using our Supreme Court to do their bidding. We are standing to protect our constitutional government with our justice free from extortion, intimidation, and manipulation by enemies foreign and domestic to the Constitution. We stand for investigating why our Supreme Court was sent poisoned cookies, an obvious act of inane terror by those wishing to manipulate them and their decisions. We can we all can read the Constitution. It is written in an 8th grade level. Any ruling like the inane ones on the corporations having the God given rights of man and the unanimous decision that government controlled corporations own your privacy if they can capture it in their products are instantly exposed as not constitutional. But plausible manipulations, exertions, intimidations by radical fundamentalist terrorists entities that warrant investigation. The trilateral terrorists and their plan to end the First Amendment in this country are completely exposed. They continue to act they continue to just act like no one notices, but their attacks on the United States government is being seen by all. As George W. Bush, our 43rd President of the United States of America, so clearly announced to the world who exactly the terrorists were. They hate our freedom of religion, our freedom of speech, our freedom to vote and assemble and disagree with each other. That was given to the address of the joint session of Congress and the American people, September 20th, 2001. All eyes are opening to the rights of man. The general spread of the light of science has already laid open to every view the palpable truth that the masses of mankind have not been born with saddles on their backs, nor a favored few, booted and spurred, ready to ride them legitimately.